belly, boots, and rolls to his right, stops, loads it up, throws down deep in the middle of the field. Rod Smith's got it. Here we go. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Rod Smith, Denver, touchdown. Inside the 10, head first. He flies off the 5-yard line. He wanted that first down.
And I tell you what, if you want to tell me the 37-year-old man that's going to win this game.
The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year.
Good evening, Denver Broncos fans, and welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup. Of course, I am your host, Keith Brugman, and we are here talking about a win. Dang, Broncos country, it is about time. Feels good to jump in with you guys, celebrate, or at least not be wallowing in another loss. Oh, man, it's a win. It was a good win. It was a beautiful win. It wasn't something we need to slump our heads over at all. Got a lot to get to, but before we get started, I just want to remind you that the Denver Bronco Roundup, of course, is brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Check out the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. They have Colorado and college football sports. Check them out today. They're on all your favorite social media platforms, including YouTube. We've got a full panel set up for you guys for this show, so I want to welcome in some hosts right away. Let's start off with... the gentleman furthest away from my Broncos country. We'll start with Mr. Albert Knoppers. How we doing, Albert?
We're doing great. It's cold here, windy, but other than that, it's a good time to be here.
It's a great time to be here, buddy, man. Dressed out in his orange and blue. Might be a little bit cold, but that's okay. He's got a outfit for every occasion, Mr. Albert Knoppers. Got his Denver Broncos sweater rocking this evening. Another, obviously, veteran of the show. We got Mr. Jody Moncrief. How we doing, sir?
Doing great. It's not snowing here, so that's good.
It's a good day, man. We haven't got need to bring out the snow blower yet. We don't have those frostbitten hands. Nothing, huh?
-18 last night.
Ooh, -18. Okay, so we're still dealing with the frostbite. It's just not we're not just out there with the snowblower. That's the positive spin on it all. So you got to take your wins where you can, buddy.
Albert, you got to stand up and show the sweatshirt off.
Come on, give it to us, buddy. Give it to us. Woot woot.
Do I need to turn it on too?
Go do it, man. Do it. Do it. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Anybody who's only listening in, beautiful, beautiful Denver Broncos sweatshirt lit up with lights all the way around the Denver logo. Oh, now we have chasing lights. Not just a singular flashing light. Man, I was telling Albert a little bit before the show came on, man, if he could shut off the lights like immediately and throw them back on, I tell you what, man, it would be a dazzling show. But don't go anywhere, Albert. It's good. You're looking beautiful tonight. A new face, not only to the Denver Bronco Roundup, but hey, to the Denver area. Eddie Keating joins the show this evening. Eddie, how we doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be here and also happy to be in Denver finally. Finally got to my, home, away from home, honestly, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm planning on staying in Denver the rest of my life.
There you go, man. Can definitely tell there's a southern accent in there, but since you're new to the show, nobody knows you. In fact, most of your co-hosts don't even really know that much about you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Eddie Keating, man? Oh, no. I think we might have lost Eddie Keating to some technical difficulties. If he comes back here in a second, we'll get him back on here and be talking about what Eddie. Hey, Eddie, you back, man?
Yeah, sorry about that. My phone unplugged.
Yeah, hey, no worries. So we were just saying, get to know Eddie Keating. Tell us a little bit about us, to your co-host, and to the viewers watching out there.
Well, I've been a Broncos fan since I was about 10, since Super Bowl 32, and we won that. Kind of got big into football then. Remember watching that Super Bowl with my dad. That's kind of whenever I fell in love with the Broncos because I like going against him, and he had the Packers, of course. And grew up in Missouri, St. Louis area.
Boy, Eddie's going to have some issues, I think, this evening. Or is that me, gentlemen? Am I doing all right? No, okay, very good. You guys were like almost frozen as well. Eddie's having some issues. We'll have to see. Eddie, I think we'll try one more time. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and if we freeze again, we might have to just move on. That's all right, buddy.
Yeah, that's fine. I might have to come back in too because I think my phone's just lagging real bad.
All right, buddy.
No, but just grew up in the St. Louis area. A lot of family members are Chief fans, and I just say it was hard growing up in that, kind of area. But no, that's pretty much it. I got a family. We finally got a chance to move out here to Denver like I always wanted, so I'm happy to be here.
All right, man. Welcome from Broncos country, and welcome certainly from the Denver Bronco Roundup. Nice to have you here, Eddie. A few people chiming in. Someone saying that YouTube's not working. I really apologize if we're having some issues over there. Seems like everything's working fairly well on our end. Check out our Facebook feed. Can be found on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network and also be found over on the Denver Bronco Roundup page. Oh, wait. Never ending. It's up. All right. Perfect, man. Our issues are clear, and Michelle is loving that sweater, buddy. You're scoring points at home as well as on the show with the sweater, buddy. Congratulations. So we got a lot to get to, gentlemen. Before we get started, I was thinking about this. I actually saw a post. I want to get everyone's answer here real quick. We'll get obviously we'll start off with Albert since he's in the Christmas spirit. It looks like already. Albert, favorite Christmas movie of all time?
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Love it, man. Jody, what are you going with, man?
Christmas Vacation.
Oh, that's a good one too.
See, that was my long-time standing favorite. And I can't believe it was knocked out by something more recent. But, man, I am just an Elf fan. An Elf fan
Elf
through and through. But all good choices, man. All excellent choices. Go ahead,
Here's a
buddy.
real question. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I don't count it. I don't count it as a Christmas movie. But at the same time, I had one of my kids' friends say that White Christmas isn't a Christmas movie. And if you know White Christmas, he has something to say about it. It doesn't happen actually at Christmas. You know what I mean? It's just that's around ski season, so it's all right. It's not really a Christmas movie. It's more like a war movie. Eddie,
Right.
A favorite Christmas movie all time?
I would have to say probably Nightmare Before Christmas.
Dang, you guys are all over the place with our guesses tonight, man. Lots of great ones, man. I love to get anybody else's thoughts around this as well. Jump in if you have any thoughts around your favorite Christmas movie. But we're gonna move on. Get into some. Let's face it, man. We get to celebrate. We got to walk in on Monday. We got to puff out our chest a little bit at work. It was a good day to be a Denver Bronco fan. It was a good day. Hey, I'm sure it was a good day to be a Denver Bronco. It was a good day to be in that locker room. It's a long time coming. I was thinking about this. For most people, this is the first win they've seen since September because most people, A, weren't getting up early enough, or B, didn't have the subscription to watch the Jaguars Broncos game. This is a long time coming, man. So, first question I have, I'm going to throw this to Eddie first since he's our guest. Eddie, how impressed are you by this win?
I'm about 50-50 on it, honestly. I mean, I'm excited we got the win. It was nice to finally, get a break from the losing there for a while. But I just still feel like there's still a lot of glaring holes on the team, mostly, offensive line. And it scares me more to say that we look better under Brett Rippon than Russell Wilson. Now, I don't know if that's because he fits in better with the scheme with Nathaniel Hackett or what, but I'm about 50-50. I'm excited we won, but I'm still kind of, anxious and, not really too ecstatic that, it took this long to get our fourth win.
And so not jumping up and down like Tom Cruise on an Oprah couch over this win, but there's some things to be happy about. I get it, man. Jody, what are your thoughts, man?
I'm kind of the same way. We played a depleted Cardinals team that was on their third string quarterback. We scored 3 points in the first half. But I've seen some things. We stuck to the run game and made that a focus. Made adjustments, scored in the second half, and this defense is elite. They probably won't go down as defense, but they are really close. Points wise, a little lacking in the sacks a little bit, but I mean, they're depleted too on that side of the ball, and this is a really good defense wasted again.
Yeah, well said, man. Albert, let's get your first thought. Are you impressed with this win? And I just want to, before you say that, just a really quick, Sis jumping in here and saying evening, man, nice win. Evening to you, Sis. Appreciate you chiming in. And we're loving a win. We just need a win sometimes. So, Albert, take it away, buddy.
No, I was really excited about the win. It is a 1.5 game win because the first half was literally pretty much nothing. And yeah, the O-line, that is terrible. And do I think that we can win more games? If we keep up scheming to the players' strengths, then we can win more of the games as well. And I think now that we have a different scheme, because it looked different, especially in the second half, than what we have seen.
100% agree, Albert, man. We did turn the page. It's funny, first half of the year, first 2/3 of the year, maybe I was calling for we need to be better at second half adjustments. Maybe this is the best game we've seen as far as that's concerned. As far as how impressed I am, yeah, I agree. I'm not ecstatic, but there was a lot of great things to look at in this game. Some things that maybe we can project forward for the rest of this year, and maybe some things that we can project forward into next year as well. So anytime you can take a win and take some of those positives and see some things that maybe you can build on, you have to be somewhat impressed. Getting back to what Jody was alluding to a little bit earlier, 21 rushes for Latavius Murray for 130 yards and a 5.4 yard average. So sticking to that run was something that we saw different, like Albert said, something that we hadn't seen, and something that looked a little bit different in comparison to maybe some of the other games that we had. On to our next question, gentlemen. These ones are kind of brought to you via Albert.
I got a question for you real quick.
Oh, jump at me. Go right
brought
ahead,
up
buddy.
the running backs. Are you satisfied with Murray and Mack that they can be true backups on this team next year? If let's say Williams comes back healthy. Or if not, can one of them be a starter full time?
That's a great question, because you have a couple of guys that don't have a ton of mileage on their legs, and yet they're getting a little bit older in their careers. I think that these are two guys that can hold the stable as Javonte comes back. But that's as far as I go. I know that Chase Edmonds is on this team, and he has a non-guaranteed contract coming up on his last year of his contract, so he's probably more than willing to negotiate his contract and stay on this team. Or renegotiate his contract in order to stay on this team. But I don't know if we need to go that deep. I don't know if Chase Edmonds, I know he'd be a great change of pace, but quite honestly, the way that we're running behind more of a power scheme with Murray and Mack is something that I'd like to see, and I think that plays also very well into Javonte Williams. Great question, though. I'm going to throw it over to Albert as well, man. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I really like this duo, and I think they would be a really good complement to Javonte. So then we have a little bit of everything now. With Gordon, we had pretty much two of the same players, but now we have a little bit of everything. And I think, yeah, what I have seen so far from those two, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think they're coming into their own. Jody, I might as well throw the question back over to yourself. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, Mac especially, I think. I mean, he gets limited time, but you see explosive plays, and I think he could be a great number two running back. I don't know if Murray is long term just because of his age and some different things,
Yeah.
but definitely Mac. But you got to have to consider both of them because let's be real, the chances of Javante being 100% healthy week one with the kind of injury he had is I don't really see that. And if he is, just look at guys that came back. Sutton, ACL. I mean, he really wasn't himself all last year. He's still really not himself. So
Well
you're
said.
gonna have to. I mean, people don't want to talk about that, but I think that's a very right behind this whole line. It's a very important position of you better find a running back because that's when Russ was always at his best with the elite running game.
Got Matt jumping in, saying he would like to see Murray back as well. Eddie is in and out of the stream. We'll see if we can keep him on long enough to get his idea on Murray, Latavius Murray, and Eddie Mack, or Marlon Mack. Sorry.
Sorry about the stream, guys. Wi-Fi keeps cutting out, and I don't know. I'll have to look into it after the pod.
No worries, man.
But with that said, yeah, Williams probably ain't going to come back, full strength by week one next year. I would love to see Latavius Murray back. As far as Marlon Mack, yeah, it'd be nice to have him maybe as a third piece, but who I really like to see if he can come back, healthy before the season's end, which I don't think he's going to, is Chase Edmonds. Like, we haven't really got to see a whole lot of him. But based on what the little glimpses we did see of him this year, I liked what I saw, but same with Marlon Mack. But Latavius Murray, definitely, I would be 100% bringing him back as a backup.
Very good, man. Very good. I guess my last piece on this, the only thing that I don't like about Chase Edmonds, couldn't find a way to fit in Arizona, couldn't find a way to fit in Miami. It just seems like we might be stretching it to try to bring him back in. It seems like it's going to be a great free agent market. So as far as running backs this offseason, you never know what's going to shake out. I think we could get something a little bit better than Chase Edmonds, just for what he's had in his career. But he's one of those guys that can be explosive. He doesn't do it every Sunday. Kenny, always loving Kenny Kirkpatrick coming in saying Merry Christmas, fellas. Merry Christmas to you, Kenny. I appreciate you, man. Trying to move along in our long list of agenda here. This was, like I said, this is kind of via Albert, so I'm going to jump in with Albert first. Albert, I think we'll break this into two categories. First, I want you to give us your offensive MVP of the game. And we'll start with Albert and go around the horn, buddy.
We cannot deny it. It is Latavius Murray. He did extremely well. I think this is one of his personal bests as well in his career. And yeah, I really enjoyed what I saw there and the opportunities that he got. He might be one of the older running backs, but he did really, really well, in my opinion.
He doesn't have the mileage. I'm telling you, he doesn't have the mileage that a lot of the backs the same age do, man. And a phenomenal performance. Jody, are you in agreement? Do you have somebody else? Who's your offensive MVP?
I'm going to go Jerry Jeudy. 8 targets, 7 receptions, 76 yards. And I think that's something Denver needs to look at hard. Is he needs to stay as the number one receiver, the X, and consider moving Cortland in as a big body slot or something like that. We've seen Larry Fitzgerald do it later in his career. Mike Evans does it in Tampa a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're seeing good things from Jeudy now that he's getting engaged in there. I mean, he's being a focal point of this offense.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. I'll circle around to that on mine as well. Head over to Eddie. Eddie, we've already had two names. Are you going to make it a third, or are you going to be in agreement with one of these gentlemen?
Well, I'm kind of in agreement with both Albert and Jody.
He might be in agreement, but his internet is in and
It's
out.
not.
So I'm going to take over here on this particular one. We'll see what we can do as far as Eddie is concerned, and get him back in here. You know, I got to give it up to Latavius Murray. If I had to give an MVP, I'm going to have to be in agreement with Albert. Just a phenomenal performance, 130 yards, puts up a touchdown. Just the way he carried this team through that second half was phenomenal. Hey, I got to give it a little bit up to that offensive line. We'll maybe hit on that a little bit later. That being said, watching the replay of this game, I'll have to agree with this as far as Jerry Jeudy is concerned. He is playing at a completely different level. I see him giving more effort. There was a quick out that he had a turn up field. He's diving to try to hit that 5th yard before he goes out of bounds. Just things that we did not see from Jerry Jeudy in the past. He's in the right position. He should stay in the X position. Find a way to get Courtland Sutton involved. It's not like Courtland Sutton was putting up stellar numbers, and now you're getting him back in the fold, and you want him to continue that. Just find something that he can do. If Tim Patrick was a number 2 on this team with his body type, then guess what? Courtland Sutton can be as well. You got to keep Jeudy in that position. Got to keep Jeudy.
I would love Courtland Sutton in the slot like Larry Fitzgerald was late in his career. I mean, big body
100%.
receiver like that, and Russ being shorter like that, he might be able to. He can see Sutton more in the middle of the field and stuff. So, might be better for both of them.
100%, man. 100%. You know, and for that matter, a guy that's as fast as Jeudy and can get off the line like he does and beat coverage, that's a great position to be for a guy that needs to just put it out and put it up and expect a guy to be able to run under it, not knowing where that guy's going to land. Eddie's back. He's going to give us his offensive MVP.
Well, like I was saying, Jerry Jeudy and Latavius Murray, I could agree on, but there is someone who really impressed me with that beautiful fake for that throw to Tomlinson for the touchdown. That's Brett Rippon. I know it was just that one play, but he stole it so good. I was just like, wow, that actually worked. But if I had to actually give it to somebody, I have to say Latavius Murray, only because if it wasn't for him in that run game, I don't think we win this game. Yes, Jerry had a big day, but if it wasn't for Latavius Murray and running the ball, we don't win that game.
Fair enough, man. Just along those lines, go right ahead, Albert, man. I'll throw you on the screen. What's up, buddy?
I want to add one more person, and he is not a player but a coach. Clint Kubiak, he earns some credit too, because he mixed it up, and I think he has found the player strengths, like Jeudy putting him on the X spot. I think Clint Kubiak earns some credit too.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Well, we're going to flip over to the defensive side. One thing I just wanted to mention, since Eddie brought it up, Rippon was 21 for 26 for 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So not a bad performance, and certainly deserves mentioning, especially from a backup, only missing on 5 passes throughout the entire game. And one of those, the interception, thinking he had a free play in the game. Defensive MVP, we'll start off with Jody. Jody, who was your defensive MVP? This might be a sweep.
Probably I'll go Justin Simmons on 2 picks. I thought he played really well. He's been playing well lately. What's that, 4 picks in 2 games or something? Or 3 picks in 2 games?
Yeah,
whatever.
I think it's 4, I think, and 5 on the season. So
probably go him, but the whole secondary as a whole. I mean, Surtain had a pick. I mean, everyone played well. So
yeah,
I thought it was
True Madden fashion. Jody's going to put the entire secondary on the player of the night, NFL player of the night. Albert, who's your MVP on defense?
Yeah, Jody already covered most of it, but I don't give single out Singleton and Jewel because they did really well as well. They were aggressive, they were tackling. I think they were doing a great job as well. But yeah, that includes the secondary. So yeah,
There you go. Well, if I think, like I said, this might be a sweep. I think you have to give it to Justin Simmons, one of the 2 game ball winners, him and Latavius Murray, so another gentleman that we mentioned, obviously, on the offensive side of things. But that being said, I'll give a little special shout-out to Deshaun Williams. Deshaun Williams recorded 2.5 sacks in this game. Deshaun Williams has been getting pressure, and quite honestly, he's been asked to step up where Chubb has left a void, I guess is the best way to put it. Bring some pass rush to this team, and he's done quite well in that scheme. That being said, maybe so far that Chubb trade is looking not so bad for us, as he's not obviously lighting it up down in Miami. That being finally said, I guess, just kind of wrapping that all up, like I said, Deshaun Williams, 2.5 sacks, career high for him, and is providing pressure where we need it. So a little special shout out to him as well, I guess. So, gentlemen, we'll move on. We'll go on to worst performances. Albert, I'm going to jump back over to you since this was your topic. It seems like you might have had some ideas in mind. Who is your offensive worst performance?
I would say Tom Compton. He was just a sieve. It was sometimes it just looked like he was not even there. Wattenberg did even perform better than he did, and he has way more experience than Wattenberg. And sometimes it just looked like he was a ghost.
Well said, man. Well said. Jody, your thoughts on maybe an offensive worst performance?
I could go any. As much as I knocked the O-line, I thought the O-line actually played decent this game. I'll go with whoever makes the decision on why other receivers are not getting run. Like, where was Virgil in this game? Why are we not seeing him at all? Why is Albert O not dressing still? If we're trying new things, why are we not? Those are explosive players still. And the excuse Albert O can't block that's old. There's something with those 2 guys. Why? I mean, Brandon Johnson came off of practice, or he wasn't even on this team. They signed him, and now he's getting more time than Virgil. Whoever's making that's the worst player of this game. Who's making these decisions?
All right, Jody, I'll get you really fired up. If you didn't realize, Freddie Swain had a catch in this game. Freddie Swain, I think, was signed this week, if I remember correctly, and elevated to the 53-man roster. Gets a start.
Somebody like that. Why is he getting run and Virgil is not?
Yep, like I said, I try to get you fired up here, buddy.
I'm really confused on that.
I don't blame you one bit.
Didn't Virgil line up for one punt return?
You got a punt return. Jody, come on.
Whoever makes those decisions, if that's Hackett, if that's Kubiak, I don't know, but that's who gets the worst player for me.
Worst offensive performance.
Because I didn't really see anyone with a horrible performance. I'm not going to bash this whole line. Yeah, Tom Compton played bad, but he got hurt, and he wasn't out there very long. And I thought the rest of the O-line, for as much as we say they were trash, they probably played average this game. So,
okay, very good, buddy. Eddie has joined us. He's changed locations, hoping for a better signal, and his offensive worst performance happens to be maybe not. We'll drop Eddie out. Offensive worst performance for me. I'm right with Albert and maybe with Jody. It seemed like he was trying to eeny, meeny, miny, mo. The offensive line still has no ability to pass block as far as I'm concerned. It was terrible. We took 6 sacks in this game. I saw Reisner. I saw obviously Compton. But Compton, like you said, got injured, Jody, so I don't know how healthy he was to begin with. These guys, don't have the ability to pass block, and picking up a stunt or anything like that is way beyond their means when it comes to pass protection. So that's one thing that they figured out, and that's what changed the game around. Is they no longer relied on that long pass block protection that was needed. So. Worst defensive performance, Jody. Maybe you have something a little bit more here.
I really don't. I didn't really see. I don't really have one, to be honest. I thought everyone played pretty well. I'll go the pass rush. I didn't see much from the pass rush. We didn't really get any sacks or anything. I've kind of expected a little more from Browning since Chubb has left, and I mean he's played well, but the numbers just aren't there on sacks.
Yep, got a half a sack in this game, but that was all.
But other than that, I thought the defense played well again.
Fair enough, buddy. Albert, did you have somebody in mind when you posted this idea up?
Baron Browning, because he had a neutral zone infraction.
Okay, very good, bud.
But that is pretty much the only negative about the entire defense.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you guys. I didn't have anything. The only thing I saw is maybe a non-call pass interference on a Kareem Jackson in the end zone on a 2-point conversion. And that's something that Kareem Jackson kind of struggles with is coverage, especially man up on a guy. So, but yeah, just a fantastic performance. I love Kenny coming in here and saying technical difficulties are only allowed on the K&K Sports Show. Anybody who hasn't checked out the K&K Sports Show, check them out. They are on, on Thursday nights, if I remember, Wednesday nights, and then the Wits and Wagers show you can check out on Thursday. So look up the K&K Sports Show, look up Wits and Wagers. Got some fantastic guys over there, including Kenny, including Sis, who already jumped in our stream a little bit earlier. So. Gentlemen, better start moving along in some questions. Might even have to start cutting these a little bit shorter. But I got this one for you. Some are talking about this win as a path to retain Hackett as head coach next year. I'll start with Jody. Do you see this win starting a path for a return for Coach Hackett?
No. Only because, look at the first half. We did nothing in the first half. Again, 3 points. I give him that we made some adjustments in the second half, but we had turnovers, we created turnovers that led to short scores. I can't point out one thing that you say, oh, that's one thing that Hackett did that's just great. I can't think of what that is.
I got one thing for it. Well, maybe I'll save it. Albert, does this start a path back to Hackett coming back next season? Is this a glimmer of hope in his eye, in the corner of his eye, as maybe coming back as a Denver Bronco head coach?
I don't think so. This was not Hackett's win. This was Clint Kubiak's win. He orchestrated the offense. Evero was orchestrating the defense. Hackett is only overseeing it mildly. That's what I call it. And no, it does not guarantee. The only way that I see that he stays here, if it is going to be a financial problem, because it seems to be that there's a lot of money involved with hiring and firing head coaches, but I think that might be the only factor that Hackett is staying.
With Albert bringing that up, what do you make of Adam Schefter posted Of the 32 franchise teams, they've spent over $800 million on fired coaches and front office executives in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
That's an astounding number. That's a huge number.
It is a huge number. 800 million though, divided by 32 teams, divided by 5 years. These are multi-millionaires, sometimes billionaires that are owning these teams. It is an astounding number, but, and then you got to figure some of these teams are a lot worse about this than others. You can point to those franchises that have constantly turned over head coaches and quarterbacks, and never mind.
You mean like the Broncos?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at with my stumbling. It just comes in. He says, "Great question. Is he coming back? You never know." And Facebook user coming in, the NFL just gave the team the reminder that they paid out the 800 million, like you said, over the last 5 years.
If he comes back, there has to be major overhaul on this offensive staff. I mean, who do you retain? I think maybe Clint Kubiak, maybe, but Justin Otten, bye. Butch Berry, O-line coach, horrible. I don't see anyone coming back, but maybe Kubiak.
And Evero.
I'm talking on the offensive side of this ball.
But you have the wide receivers coach, Azani. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Like Jody said, he was just talking on the offensive. Oh yeah. You were saying offensive. You think a wide receiver? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm in agreement with. It's really tough. It's really tough to sell the Denver fan base. It's really tough to say, hey, we're running almost all these guys back. We're going to bring back Hackett. We're bringing back the wide receiver coach. We're bringing back Kubiak. We're bringing back Evero. We're bringing back. It's like, well, how are we getting better then? You know what I mean? What are we looking at? What's the plan then? That becomes really difficult. I will say this, going back to my original question, does this give her a glimmer of hope? Both you guys said, show me one thing that he did, or this win was all on Clint Kubiak. I'll give him this. When you're 3-10, it's really tough to keep a team together. It's tough to keep a team mentally checked in to the point that they still want to fight. I don't care if you're telling them, hey, play for next season, play for your own contracts, play for the pride of the game, play because you said, all I want to do is play in the NFL when you were a little kid. Well, here you are, you're playing in the NFL. Doesn't matter if you're 3-10 or 10-13 or 10-3. You know what I mean? You're getting your opportunity. But somehow he kept these guys together, and somehow he kept them fighting, and somehow they came out and they end up putting up a pretty decent performance in a game that they were down 9-3. So I'll give him that. I don't know. He's not out there, like you said, calling plays. We don't know how much he's actually involved in a lot of other things. But hey, I know from the fact, from a leadership standpoint, if you're shaky there, good luck on all of this coming together for a win when you're 3-10 on the season. I think he did well. So
if you're the owners, do you look at that and that's a reason to keep him around, or do you look around the stadium and see 18,000 no-shows and say, "Oh, the fans are speaking"?
And someone else brought this up though too, Jody. Those 18,000 fans were coming for the 3-10 team, not the 4-10 team.
True. I mean, do 18,000?
It's been a long time coming.
Do they not show if Russ is playing? I mean, did that have a lot to do with it? I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, heck, even if Kyler Murray
that's a lot of
would have been starting
though.
This game, you know what I mean? If Kyler Murray would have been starting this game, we probably would have had another 3,000 people even. You know what I mean? It's like it's tough. I appreciate Facebook user. Drop your name if you don't want to share it with StreamYard, and if that's confusing to you, it's right at the very beginning when we log in. But hey, no worries. Drop your name. I love to know who is 100% agreeing with me. The team does stay motivated. And they said there is more and more talk that he may be back and see what he can do with a year under his belt and a healthy roster. Hey, maybe we just need a new strength and conditioning coach. That's an idea. It's an idea a long time coming.
5 years coming.
long time. Appreciate it, Albert. Albert's been keeping track. He's been marking down his marks on the wall, like the prison wall almost. Hey, it's been a long time being a Broncos fan and going through losing season after losing season. If I'm going to assimilate it with a with a with a prison, so be it. Last question, and we'll make this really quick, and then we'll get on the second segment of this show. I'll start out back with Albert. We started off with Jody on the last one. Who does this win have the most meaning for? Who benefited the most from this win? Albert.
I think the entire team benefits from it, but especially the offense. Because they have seen, hey, we can score 21 points in half of a game. We can do this. So I think it is a win for the entire team, but especially for the offense. That's what I think.
Jody, what do you think? Oh, don't got your audio, buddy.
Yeah, I'll piggyback right on that. I think it's a win for this offense. I mean, to show that, yeah, we can actually score points. Yes, it was against a bad Arizona team, but who cares? I mean, we're down a lot of players too, so no one's feeling sorry for us that we're missing lots of starters. So
that's for sure.
I mean, what did they have? One. Well, when Miners went out, would they have one starter from the projected offensive line at the beginning of the season?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's been a mismatch of guys on that offensive line.
Three of your four top wide receivers are out. Sutton, Patrick, Hinton, Hamler. So yeah, and to still be able to put decent numbers up is, I mean, it's encouraging, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to kind of go back to what we talked a little bit about before. I think for me, the one the person this should mean the most for is Jerry Jeudy. Here he is. He's in that X position. And everyone said, hey, he was thrown in that position. But, hey, no one knew that was coming. He was in a new position. They didn't have time to plan for it. They didn't know he was going to be there. That's why he had success. Like I said, I saw a guy that went out there. He performed. He did a fantastic job. He's giving more effort on these plays than I've seen him give maybe in his entire career. He seems like he's dialed in. He wants to be here. He wants to give his all. Jerry Jeudy, I think this meant a lot of different things, and it was nice to see him go out there. Hey, he wasn't the big play guy. He didn't score all the touchdowns. He went out there, he did his part, he performed, and he gave it his all. And like I said, against a team that knew he was going to be in that X position, that one position. So I'm going to give it up to Jerry Jeudy on this one if I had to give it out to one person. That being said, gentlemen, I'm going to take just 1 second. Had to get my hat on, man. If you guys don't mind. Looking all right? Looking okay? All right.
I can grab mine too.
I know you maybe inspired me a little bit. It's funny. I was out and about. I had my Christmas hat on, and a little kid came up. He's like, Santa. No, it's not Santa. But that being said, sorry, I lost my my spot here. Guys, gentlemen, guys are really tough to buy Christmas presents for, and that's why I got my Santa hat on here. But one place I know every guy is proud to stand is right in front of their barbecue. I know I am, man. It's like a family comes over, man. I want to be that guy that's out there on the barbecue serving up whatever it happens to be. I don't care if it's hot dogs. I don't care if it's ribs. I don't care what it is, steaks, you name it. We want to be that guy. We love to be proud. So when you're out there and you're thinking, What's a great gift to give? Well, there's no better barbecue gift than you can give to a guy than Willow Seasonings and Blends. And hey, I'm not sure if you can get that shipment in time. You know, shipping's crazy this time of year. Shipping's crazy all the time now. It seems like everything's delayed. So I thought I'd do you a little favor. This is where you can get it in case you're looking for those last-minute stocking stuffers. Stoke D-Fire Barbecue Supply in Loveland, Colorado. Ruff's Barbecue Shop in Golden, Colorado. Proud Souls Barbecues and Provisions in the Denver and Littleton locations. Ace Hardware right up there in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Colorado Springs Grill Store, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Holy Smokes Barbecue and the Grilling Shop in Castle Rock and in Centennial, Colorado. Mitten Barbecue Supply all the way in Granville, Michigan. And Yorkville and Oswego Ace Hardware in Oswego and Yorkville, Illinois. I'm telling you, man, these guys are going worldwide. So, like I said, pick up your Willow Seasonings and Blends today. You can check out all that product. It's at willowseasonings.com. Again, not sure if they can get those shipments in time. But that being said, holy cow, go ahead, check out your local store, especially if you're in the Colorado area. Get those stocking stuffers. Be the Santa on the wish list and fulfilling those wish lists for the guy in your life, any guy in your life. Like I said, we love to be around the barbecue. I don't know about you guys. That's where I love to be, man. It's a little cold, though. I figured I'd actually bring this in, gentlemen. We usually talk about the weather so much. I just figured I would... I might as well just put it all together for you. Currently, cloudy, -5. Tonight, just -20 with snow, 3 to 5 inches. And finally, tomorrow, we have a high of -16 and a low of -32. But that being said, Christmas Day, we do have a high of 42. So we're looking at possibly like I don't know, what's that, 70, almost 80 degree swing between our low tomorrow night and Christmas Day. So we'll be looking forward to that. So David Slade is in here thanking me. Thank you, Dave. Dave is Will is the owner of Willow Seasonings and Blend and fantastic sponsor of the show. And he says we will be trying our hardest to get that stuff out. So maybe some opportunity to get those shipments through the mail for Christmas. If nothing else, tell them it's on their way. It's on their way. Believe me, they'll love it once it arrives, even if it's a couple days late. So moving right along, gentlemen, I'll just keep the Christmas hat on. It's going to be a Merry Christmas for us because the Broncos play on Christmas Day. And, hey, the Rams have fell on hard times since their Super Bowl season. Actually fell on the same hard times that the Broncos once time fell apart. I believe they're tied with the 99 Broncos as the worst team to fall off of a Super Bowl win with now a 4-10 season themselves. Coming off a 24-10 loss to the Packers, the Rams welcome the Broncos to L.A. on Christmas Day. Question number one, we'll start with Albert first on this one. Hackett immediately named Russell Wilson the starter versus the Rams right in the post-game press conference, even before he said anything nice about Brett Rippon. A, do you agree with that decision? And does this what does this start mean for Russell or Hackett?
Yeah, I do agree with that decision that Russell needs to play the last 3 games. Like I said, it is all building up chemistry with the people he has, and see if they can find a system that really fits Russell Wilson. This is now more of an early training camp. That's what I see it, and yeah. This is what needed. There's not much we can lose. We can only climb up in the system, and drop that pick for the Seahawks, because right now they're picking at number 3. So if we can make that an 8 or a 9, that would be great.
Man, I'd love to get him out of the top 10, Albert. That's a good call, man. Jody, good call that Wilson starts this Sunday or this on Christmas Day, I should say. And does this mean What does this mean for Russell Wilson? What does this mean for Nathaniel Hackett?
I think it's really the only choice Hackett had. If he has any hopes of being here next year, he knows Russ is going to be his quarterback. So what does he gain if he starts ripping and produces? He doesn't gain anything because he's got to play Russ next year. So he needs to show that he can get something out of Russ. And I would say these last 3 games are really important to him. He has to show that he can get something out of Russ. If he doesn't, then he's probably out the door. They might already have their mind made up, but if he can show that Russ can start producing in this system, and then maybe he has a chance. But I mean, I think it's the only decision for Hackett if he plans on retaining his job next year.
Well, I was going to come up here and say that you have some differing opinions, but I think you might have, in the end, good point. Jody didn't look at it this way, had it that way. Kenny was going to argue that he thinks you should give Rippon a little bit of chance to see what you have in a backup, since you already know that Russ is going to be your starting quarterback. But he's now flipped positions. Matt Staffiero jumping in, saying Russ has to follow up the two best offensive performances of the season, has to show consistency. Hackett needs to show the same. Consistency has made some decent adjustments in the last week. Real question is going to be, if it looks bad in the weeks, is why we can get Rip to produce but can't get Wilson. Yeah, that'll be a good question. Albert, your thoughts on the? Oh, I already hit you on this question, buddy. So I'll just hit you with the next question that we have here, unless you have something that you want to follow up on this.
But Russ knows how to produce too, because the previous game that he got out, how many points did he score? He had 3 touchdowns. So he knows how to produce as well. So,
yeah, I really like your thought and your idea, though. Hey, we need to. This is kind of a restart, and need to see what this team looks like. Maybe with a new identity that we've started in these last couple of weeks. Question 2 I have for you on this upcoming game. The Rams have struggled offensively, just like the Broncos, but their defense have been able to get pressure on the quarterback. So averaging 3.6 sacks per game. I want to know, what's your prediction for the amount of sacks Russell Wilson takes versus the Rams on Christmas Day? Albert, go ahead.
I would think 5, 6, maybe even 7. Because our offensive line is horrible.
Very good. Jody, did they learn in that second half how to protect and get away from all those sacks? I think there was 1 sack in the second half on Brett Rippon, or is there going to be a 5, 6, 7 sack game, as Albert's predicting? Are the Rams just too good? Oh, don't got no audio, buddy.
Yeah, if Aaron Donald plays, I'm not really sure who in that interior is going to be able to block him.
Yeah, I heard a report that Aaron Donald is looking for any doctor in the North American continent that will clear him to play versus our offensive interior line.
But they still have decent pass rushers. They still have Leonard Floyd. So I think the key to not getting sacked is run the football. I mean, I don't know that I want to praise the O-line that they pass blocked well. I think they just ran the ball a lot in the second half.
I agree, man. I agree. A little bit more of a quick pass situation. It seemed like they got away from some of the longer stuff or the deeper stuff that they were trying to develop in the first half. Seemed like they were looking down the field or trying to push it down the field a little bit more, and that maybe went away to some shorter and quicker reads, I guess. But yeah, there was obviously a whole lot of running when you put up almost 170 yards. You have one guy go for 130. Marlon Mack, obviously had his production and his touchdown as well. There was a lot of running, and maybe that's the key to keeping 5, 6, 7 sacks off of Russell Wilson as well. It's something that we certainly need to look at. Russell Wilson has been beat up all this season, regardless of only missing 2 games, really. Go to our next question. The Rams are giving up an average of 20.4 points per game. The Broncos, over the last 3 games, are averaging 20.3 points per game. My question to you guys, I'll start over with Jody on this one. Do I finally get my 30-point game?
I don't think so.
I think this might be one of my last chances, buddy. You might be depleting me. We won't have one. But no, go ahead. We won't get our 30-point game. What are you thinking now, Ness?
If Russ can come out and put up 24 points, I would be happy with that.
Okay.
At this point, to be honest, I'm not really after wins or losses. I just want to see some
Improvements.
Some improvements on the O-line, or some improvements on the offense of being able to move the football. And if they're going to go the way of Hackett and Kubiak next year, or run something similar to this, then it's got to start improving. That's where I think this is why Hackett is playing. He has to play Russ to. He has to know can he make Russ work? If he can't, I mean, he knows what's on the line here. Either Russ produces, and that's going to give him really good consideration, or Russ doesn't produce, and then I don't see how you even consider bringing him back with all the other flaws and different things that happened this year.
Fair enough. Albert, do I get a 30-point game?
I think we will be really close. But I have a question about the head coaching in a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, I think we will be really close to a 30-point game. We already scored 28 against the Chiefs. So we scored 25 this weekend, 24, okay. 25. So, yeah, I think we are really close to a 30-point game.
We're getting there, buddy. We're getting there, and that's what I'm hoping for, man. I think you're right. I think we're really, really close to a 30-point game. I'll throw the next question over to you as we're trying to burn through some of these questions. Rams are giving 105 rushing yards, giving up 105 rushing yards per game. Latavius Murray, as we just spoke of, went for 130. Does Latavius go for over 100 in this game?
I think they might be a little bit smarter and giving a little bit more even splits between Mack and Murray. I think that would be smart. So I think they could be both close to 100-yard game.
Both close, but both just short. Not a 100-yard rusher, but it's a good performance on the ground. Jody, what's your thoughts on the running game?
I'm going to say no, only because I think Quinn Miners is probably not going to play with that eye injury. And I would say of all 5 starters on this whole line, Luke Wattenberg is definitely the massive weak link. And I think that might get exposed. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that get exposed in the Kansas City game. So,
yeah, but Quinn Miners already got out of the game pretty early. And we got all the running yards in the second half. Oh,
we did. I think that's somewhere that if you know he's going to play, that you can expose. And I mean, that's definitely a weak link on this offensive line is Wattenberg.
I like Kenny, guys. Out of all 3 of us, all 3 of you, Albert, Jody, and Kenny. Kenny, you're my favorite right now because Kenny says, well, I'll get my 30 points. And the bring back Hackett talk will begin. So just from the fact that Kenny's saying that I'll finally get my 30-point game, he becomes my favorite right now. Sorry, guys, that you're playing second fiddle. I might segue off of our agenda, guys, because you guys brought it up a few different times. It's been a big topic, and Albert kind of mentioned it a little bit, I think, the last. Albert, you wanted to talk a little bit about coaching. Bring back Hackett. I even thought about putting into our agenda maybe some ideas around, potential coaches next year or what direction we're going. But I'll just leave this open-ended. What are your thoughts around all of this? Like I said, there's a ton of talk out there. What are your thoughts around all of it?
So The ball is up in the air with Hackett staying or staying not. We don't know. But if he leaves, what I would like to see is Gary Kubiak coming back, because I think he would be tremendous for the system and helping Russell Wilson out. What do you think of that one?
Of Gary Kubiak coming back?
Yeah.
For me, I'll be honest. If you want my true honest opinion, I thought that Gary Kubiak's offense got very, very stale at the end of his tenure as far as coaching his career. I thought he was very predictable, and if he didn't have someone like Peyton Manning running it, that could check, that could read defenses, that could get people in the exact right position, it was a very difficult offense to run for most teams. So that's the only thing. I don't think that he was, as much as he innovated along with the whole Shanahan tree originally, I don't think he continued to innovate like we saw some of the others. Jody, what are your thoughts? Bring back Gary Kubiak, pair him with Clint Kubiak. That's Albert's thoughts. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's more of the question. What does Clint Kubiak come back? Because if he comes back next year, they're not running his true offense. So how much of this really changes? So Russ looks okay. How much of that, if you bring him back, does he change up? I mean, he is a true wide zone, a lot of bootlegs and that type of thing that just aren't in Hackett's playbook. But Kubiak or Gary as a head coach, for all of the BS that Russ, the drama stuff, I would love him, because I think he would put Russ in his place of, you're not going to have an office. You're going to run what I tell you. There are going to be plays when I go up to the line, you're going to run the ball on 3rd and 1. You're not going to check out to a pass, things like that. And I think that they are both smart enough that they will know what Russ can do and what Russ can't do. And that's not sit there and shotgun and try to be Drew Brees. I mean, they'll move him like they did Elway. Elway didn't sit in the pocket all the time. They got him on the move and different things. So,
yep.
All the other things that Hackett failed at, from running training camp to not playing anyone in OTAs to time management in the beginning, you won't have those problems right away. I think all that goes away. And they will be smart enough to know to run what works for Russ, just like with Manning. Kubiak was never a pistol guy, but that was the compromise. He wanted Manning under center. Manning wanted shotgun, so we'll run pistol. I mean, there's really been I haven't seen that. Where's the middle of this? Russ, whoever wants shotgun, who wants under center, then meet in the middle with the pistol. We haven't seen that. And that's something that we've seen a lot with Kubiak. He met in the middle with Manning.
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of pistol versus Jacksonville, if I remember correctly. But that was about the extent of that experiment that we saw. Good points. Like you said, a strong coach that can come in here, really dictate what this team is all about, and really rein in Russell Wilson from the zero reigns that he had, the free reign that he has had since he's walked in the doors as a starting quarterback here. Would be something that would be nice. This is my big thing. Go ahead, Albert.
And Kubiak already has a really good history with the Bronco fans as well. So the fans will come for Gary Kubiak.
Yeah, for me, like I said, it just I don't know if I want to go that far back. I don't know if I want to go that into the history. I don't know if I want to go that old of a head coach. Quite honestly, as we came off of Vic Fangio, that's all I wanted was a young offensive coordinator. I guess I got what I asked for. I should have been a little bit more specific. But
I don't think this is what you asked for.
In general sense, I think it was, but yeah, a little bit more specific next time. When you have that 3 wishes from the genie, you need to make sure you know exactly what you're saying to the genie, right?
One
Very-
thing with Kubiak is I heard a report that he had a chance to get Manning in Houston, and he turned that down because to get Matt Schaub because he thought Matt Schaub could run his offense better. So, what does he think of Russell Wilson? Does he already have predetermined notions that hey, Russ can't run my offense, so the heck with that. I don't even want to go and do that. Just like with Manning here, how much do you think that pull he was pulling his hair out? I can't run my type of offense with Manning.
Yeah.
So I
like
don't know. I don't
said,
know how he feels about it. Basically, how he feels about Russ.
Yeah, I think it'd be, I guess in the very end, Albert, I would be okay bringing him in as a candidate for interview, but he wouldn't be that guy that I think I would be jumping up and down to necessarily hire. One name that I thought was a little bit interesting, I did hear come up, is that there is some talk that the Baltimore Ravens might want to completely reset and let Harbaugh go up there, as well as obviously their quarterback. All of a sudden, I'm blanking.
Lamar Jackson.
Thank you, Lamar Jackson. I don't know why that couldn't come to me, but Lamar Jackson as well. But obviously, we're not in the market for a quarterback, but a head coach we very well could be. That would be a name that I would be okay taking a look at as well. For that matter, any Harbaugh can come in here and take a look at our head coaching position. But
I love that
wrap it up-
idea because
Mhm.
he doesn't call plays there, so he's going to bring in someone. I think he's smart enough to bring in someone that will work with Russ. He's going to be a more like a CEO type where he's managing the clock. He's looking at both sides of the ball. He's managing. I mean, even like in OTAs, we're going to do things. We're going to practice. We're not going to, like Denver did this year. You've seen it up close and personal. It was, from all accounts, from everyone that I heard, it was just a totally different type of training camp that no one was really. All the ex-players said this is. They were not a fan of. Really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that Harbaugh would. That's the type of stuff Harbaugh, and he's been a winner. So
There you go, buddy. Albert's been shaking his head in agreement. Heard a little agreement as well.
Yeah, I like it. And the scheme that Ravens have, I think it would fit Russell Wilson as well. So if he brings that with him, yeah, I think it is a good matchup.
Very good. Like I said, candidates maybe galore that we could take a look at.
I'll agree with Kenny on that.
Top 5 head coach in the league, in my opinion, as Kenny Kirkpatrick says. This is something that I've been passionate about. I've brought up in some chats rooms that we have and the like. This is my big thing, and I've heard this brought up on, I believe, 104.3 The Fan. I don't know how many other outlets are talking about this, but for me, Hackett and Payton, I think, need to be tied together. I don't know how. I talked a little bit about it a little bit earlier. How you sell, letting Hackett go, but yet the guy who really was in charge of hiring Hackett was George Payton, and allowed Hackett to hire the entire staff that he did and the whole 9 yards, and say, we're going to keep Payton, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a new head coach. Secondarily, I don't like the timing of that as well. If there's question of whether Payton should be gone possibly this season, which has been brought up, if you give him one more year, you're giving him one more year. But yet your brand new head coach, you're hoping is going to make it more than 1 year. So then your new head coach makes it 2 or 3 years, but at that time it's time to move on from George Payton. So then you bring in a new GM who's on a different schedule than your head coach. it doesn't seem like you're ever on the same table. And quite honestly, a GM on their way out or a head coach on their way out are in two different mindsets as far as what they want to see from players drafted, players brought in as free agency, the whole 9 yards, compared to maybe someone who's just starting their career in that organization. A brand new GM is looking long term. A GM on his way out is looking for a way to build a team and put something together now. So I wanted to get your thoughts, guys, on that. Jody, what's your thoughts that Hackett and Payton are tied together and either you keep them both or you lose them both for next year?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Hackett or Payton hired Hackett. He allowed Hackett to hire this coaching staff. He knew that this coaching staff was very, very inexperienced. I mean, you had Clint Kubiak, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That had any type of in their current role now. So, and
Right.
What do the owners think of all the reports that this was all to get Aaron Rodgers and it failed?
Yeah.
But then I'll
keep you on
ahead.
the screen. Just add in the fact that the Russell Wilson contract right now has not aged very well. I know that a lot of people were in support at the very beginning. Randy Gregory signing, not looking all that great with the amount of time out there as well. These are just things that, especially as this ownership group is looking at the decisions over the last 12 months, that they would have to take a look at. Anyway, go ahead.
But then I also look at, he's drafted really well. I'm not going to hold the Russell Wilson trade against him yet because, to be honest, whether it was Russ that wanted to play like Drew Brees or vice versa, this offense didn't fit Russ, and this was all, they'll never admit this, but this was all tailored for Aaron Rodgers, and we didn't get him. Now bringing Hackett back, somebody's going to my thing with bringing Hackett back is you brought him here because he was a great play caller, and he's already given up that. He had to bring in Jerry Rosberg because he can't manage the clock. Almost every interview you hear, I'm open for suggestions. I take everyone's advice. He's not putting his stamp on anything and saying, this is what we're doing. It's basically everyone else is telling him what to do, and he's just the front guy. That's what it feels like. When have you seen Hackett really sit there and say, use Russ I'm going to play Brett Rippon, and whether you like that or not, I'm playing Rippon or whoever. You don't really see that. It's kind of these guys, they told me to go for it on fourth down or whatever, and we go for it. You make the decision. You're the head coach. That's my only thing with bringing Hackett back is you have a bunch of other people behind the scenes telling him what to do. He was brought here for his offense. We're already not running that. So, that's my big thing with Hackett.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. It's fair criticism. Albert, your thoughts on all of this? Hackett and Payton being tied together, bringing them back next year, or letting them both go at the end of the season. What are your thoughts on that?
If I were the owner, if Hackett is gone, then Payton is gone, and they have no emotional relationship with Payton at all because they didn't bring him in. Now they can have one of their own choosing and make their own decisions about a GM. That's how I see it. If you keep Hackett, well, now they can be both on the table for the year after, because if they don't perform again, then they are gone for sure. But in this year, if we let Hackett go, let Payton go too as well.
I will say one thing on Payton. If Payton hired Hackett all to get Aaron Rodgers here, so when Russ was the second choice, now he knows who his quarterback is before he hires a coach this time. you have to get somebody in here that's going to work with Russ.
Mm.
The other way around is you had Hackett here, you didn't get Rodgers, and then you kind of gave him what was the second best option out there at the time. Now he has a better understanding of all these other guys that are up and coming that might interview great. They're not going to work well with Russ. So whether it's right or wrong, you're out. This has to be built around Russ because of what you've paid him.
And to be fair, I guess if I look at it in the perspective of this whole hiring process, right? If I'm Nathaniel Hackett, I go in, I win the job. I'm winning the job on saying, this is how I see it working. This is the structure. This is the offense. This is how I see it, how well it will work. Well, then all of a sudden you get thrown the fact that, hey, guy, Nathaniel, we didn't get Aaron Rodgers, bud. We're gonna go after Russell Wilson. Do you say, okay, I want to scrap all that stuff that just got me hired by you guys, all those thoughts and ideas, or do you turn and say, I think I can still do it. I think we can get Russell Wilson in here. I think we can put this together. I think we can make this work. I think Russell Wilson has the ability. And hey, it didn't. It didn't work out. So now maybe we're seeing that change. It's interesting. The one thing that I'll say, and I said, like I said, I dropped this in a few chats. The end of the 2023 season, or I'm sorry, the 2023 season, 2023-2024 season, which would be next year, this in just a couple of years, is where we see, I might have this backwards, I think it was the end of this next season, is when we had to sign up. Yeah, it is. The beginning of the league year in 2024 is when we sign up and all the guarantees kick in for Russell Wilson for 2025 and beyond. $37 million guarantee. If we get through next year, the 2023 season, and we decide Nathaniel Hackett and George Payton and this experiment with this offense does not look good, it looks again like this year, we have a repeat. You also have that option of not picking up that option for Russell Wilson, not having that $37 million guaranteed, and possibly moving on from Russell Wilson with a big cap hit. But nonetheless, you didn't start guaranteeing $37 million plus at the same time. So it would put a lot of timing together if you wanted to. You could either A, reset with a new coach and GM and say Russell Wilson will continue on with, or there's an outside possibility of moving on from all three at the end of next year. Just a thought.
If you lost my check? If you bring Hackett back, he's going to have a new offensive coordinator that's going to tailor to what Russ does best. Will Hackett be okay sitting back and when a play's called and saying, that's not how I run it. That's totally backwards from my philosophy or whatever, and try to override things? Or can he sit back and say, that's what's best for this team and I got to live with it?
I think you pointed it out yourself because you were talking about Jerry Rossman and Clint Kubiak and the like. Albert, your thoughts?
And didn't he say he was open for suggestions?
Yeah. I mean, to your point, Jody, I think that Nathaniel Hackett has been kind of ran through, everything has ran through everybody else. He's been that guy who is more of a funneler of ideas than he has been a guy that wants to go out there and put a stamp on things. Something that, like you said, I think he needs to do. I would like him to be a little bit more aggressive. Heck, even after a win like he just took down, I'd like him to go out there and say, have a little bit more passion in that press conference. I will give you this.
Every win means so much. Like I had said, the adversity that we have gone through, and there's all kinds of different things, and we don't make any excuses. And it's hard to win in this league. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care if you're winning a lot of games, losing a lot of games. I've been doing this for a while, and every game is difficult, and it presents its own challenges. And these guys have worked and stuck together, and that's what I've appreciated. So it's not about me. It's not about how much it means to me. It's about just our whole team together as a group. And and they deserved that win, and they fought for it, and it was a great team victory. And then for us, obviously Justin Simmons with those 2 picks and Latavius Murray. I mean, he took that thing over. I mean, it was great to see, and I mean, just being able to run. I think we ran for about 170 yards. I mean, that's a great feeling. That's a great feeling for the offense.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, maybe there's a possibility. Maybe we bring back Nathaniel Hackett. Maybe he's that funnel of great ideas from a better offensive coordinator that I know that you would like, Jody. That's my thoughts.
I guess my thing is if he now is giving up play calling and he still is relying on Jerry Rosberg to manage the clock for him, so he's not doing that. He's not a defensive guy, so he's really probably not focused on that side of the ball. He's not calling plays. And at some point, it's almost like, well, the book says 3rd and 1, you go for it. Or like in whatever game that was where they were down 9 and they went for 2, kick the extra point and get within 1 score. I don't remember who was playing. It was not the Broncos, but something because the metric said that's what you needed to do was go for 2 right there. I mean, that's crazy. And he doesn't have at some point he doesn't make you need to make a decision and stand by it. It's always, well, that's what the metric says, or that's what analytics said, or I mean, if that's what you then hire Siri and you could plug it, you know what I mean? Something. Just do whatever's easy, whatever it suggests, just do. That's where he's at. He doesn't for example, like the Colts game, for example, all you need to do is kick a field goal when Russ throws that interception and you win the game. You go up 2 scores. Put your foot down and say, we're running the football. We're going to kick a field goal, go up 2 scores and win this game. I mean, it's simple stuff like that. But the metrics said throw it. So or analytics, so you threw it.
Yeah, I'll give them the opportunity to learn, I guess is the best way to put it. And I've seen some turning points, I guess, as of lately. The last thing I'll say is we were just talking about Harbaugh that's up there with the Ravens right now and how he defers to all his guys, and he's just out there being the guy who funnels all these ideas, really. Not much different than what we're talking about in Hackett and his role. So, Albert, did I see you moving your head around? I want to give you an opportunity here real quick before we move on to another topic. So, last topic.
We will see what happens after 3 games because Black Monday is coming up and time will tell. That's and from there on, we have a new season coming up. Even although playoffs are still there before us, the season ends in about 3 games.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we always give a little bit of. I know we got a little bit off topic as far as the game was concerned, guys. I'll just go really quick. Wrap it all into one. Give me maybe a final score prediction and maybe a player to watch in this game. Albert, start with you.
Player to watch in the game, I think Dulcich might be one to watch this time. Short passes, and I think that would be fun to see. And score prediction, 28-14.
Very good, sir. Very good. For a Denver Bronco win.
For a Bronco win, yeah.
Very good. Jody, player to watch in this upcoming game, and maybe a final score prediction from you.
I'm going to go 2 guys up, Russ and Jerry Jeudy. I'd like to see them get a little rapport going again and see how Russ bounces back from this concussion. I mean, he was coming off probably his best game of the season and see if he can build off of that. And then I'll say somewhere like a 24-13 Broncos win.
Nice, nice. I'm liking that Jody's back on the win train. It was just a week or 2 ago. He said, I'm not giving this team anything until they show me a win. So here we are. Jody's finally off of that, I guess, that negative train that I think many of us were on, and is finally putting out a prediction with the Broncos win versus the Rams. So, very similar to what you guys said, or I guess what Jody said. I'm still interested to see what Judy does. This is a team that's built a little bit different in the secondary. By the way, this is the second toughest team to score in the red zone on. Number one being the Denver Broncos right now. Number two being the Rams. So we'll have to take advantage of some opportunities if we want to get into the end zone. I think it'll have to be on some larger plays where we're maybe not in the red zone to begin with. And that might be some larger plays like to Mr. Jerry Jeudy. So that's the player I want to watch. Boy, as far as a score prediction, you guys are maybe a little bit more excited than me. I'm gonna go 21-17 Denver Broncos win. Baker Mayfield, I know that he had a little bit of an off game, but he can be a wild card and coming out on Christmas at home in LA. He's playing for a little bit of something himself. I think he could show out a little bit, give us a run for our money. But in the end, I think we do find a way to pull it out. Final thoughts. Albert, I'll start with you. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see the continuation of at least several good halves. And if we don't hear from each other again, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Very Merry Christmas to all our friends and fans out there, all our followers and commenters as well. Jody, I'll get to you real quick. I just want to get Kenny's coming in here. He's giving me a 31-13 Broncos, and they're bringing back Hackett now. Hashtags Broncos score 30 for KB. Thank you, Kenny. Man, he's quickly become my biggest fan. Final thoughts, Jody.
Just hope everyone stays healthy. I'd like to see Russ build off of that last game against the Chiefs and see if they can actually get something clicking again. Yeah, that would be the main thing. I'd like to see Russ build off of what he did the last game against the Chiefs. And I have one for Kenny. He can just answer in the comments. Would he be saying that if Hackett was the Giants head coach?
Ooh, boy. Yeah, that's a good question, buddy. That's a good question. I know he was really impressed with our offensive coordinator last year. So,
yeah.
All right. Final thoughts for me. And Sis coming in here saying Merry Christmas, boys, as well. Thank you, Sis. Appreciate it. Kenny as well. Miss Michelle Knoppers coming in saying Merry Christmas. Eat much. Have fun. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you as well. Your loyalty to the show. Final thoughts for me. I don't want to end. I usually don't like to end things on a sad note, guys, but I don't know if you saw Ronnie Hillman. My thoughts are with him, especially as Christmas comes near. Like you said, we might not see each other until after Christmas. I'm calling in a Christmas miracle for Ronnie Hillman. He's been admitted into hospice with liver cancer. 31 years old. Boy, that name really hit home, as it was just a couple of weeks ago. I did my Throwback Thursday on the Denver Bronco Roundup page. It was the last time the Chiefs were beaten by the Denver Broncos, which we all know is 14 games ago. That was a game that Ronnie Hillman was involved in, as him and C.J. Anderson in the backfield. Not that long ago, this man was toting the ball for the Denver Broncos, putting up a win versus our last win versus the Kansas City Chiefs. But outside of football, obviously, our thoughts, our prayers are with him. Wish him the very best, and we'll be pulling for him. And even though it's not looking good, hospice is obviously is not the place you want to be. I'm still wishing for that Christmas miracle for Ronnie Hillman. So, thoughts to you, sir.
31 is way too young.
31 is way too young, as I was saying on another show. People always talk about your window in order to win a championship or win a Super Bowl. We never know what our window in life is going to look like. Go out there and play it to your best of your abilities, just like Ronnie Hillman did for us on the field. Helped bring us Super Bowls, was part of that run, was major in the playoffs. like I said, can't do anything but wish the very best for him, his family, all his loved ones, and hope that Christmas miracle comes through. All right, gentlemen, we're going to round up the show. Just as a reminder, please like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Denver Bronco Roundup. Share it with all your friends, all your family. We are on many social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Obviously, you can check us out on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. They're on YouTube. They're on TikTok. You name it. All the normal shows. Thank you, Eddie, for trying to chime in to the show. Sorry that the technical difficulties knocked you out early. Albert, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. You have a Merry Christmas, sir, if I don't talk to you. Jody, same to you, sir. Appreciate the show, and Merry Christmas
to everyone.
Yours.
Merry Christmas to everyone that joined, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. From me, from Jody, from Albert, Merry Christmas to all of you. We're going to get out of here. Hopefully, next time we're talking to you guys, we're talking about that Denver Broncos win versus the Rams. But regardless, all of you have a safe and happy holiday. We're going to get out of your hair and have a great night.